morning, dear children. In the previous class, we started with the last chapter of history, devotional paths to divine. In that chapter, we studied about how the great saints they achieved enlightenment. They worked hard, they preached hard, and they practiced their own religion. We studied about Islamic saints and other saints. Today, we will be continuing with this chapter and we will study about Kabir, Guru Nanak Dev Ji and other saints who had so many followers and worshippers. They worked hard and they followed bhakti. So let's see what were their teachings by going through the chapter. So children, in the previous class, we were studying about the great saints, the Sufi saints, and we studied about the Virashevas, which was started in Karnataka. Then we studied about the saints of Maharashtra, Nath Panthis, Siddhas and Yogis, Islam and Sufism. So this all we had already studied in the previous class. Today we are going to study the greatest Sufis of the Central Asia. The Sufis of the Central Asia were known as Ghazali, Rumi and Sadi. Then we'll see the new religious development in North India. So let's have a quick look at the Sufis of the Central Asia who are known as Ghazali, Rumi and Sadi. They developed methods like Nath Panthis and their training is called Zikr. Zikar means chanting of name or formula. Then Sama, that is singing, Rags, discussion of parables and breath control. Thus emerged the silsilas, the genealogy of Sufi teachers, each offered different instruction. The Chishti silsila was among the most influential orders. It had a long line of teachers like Khwaja Muhyiddin Chishti of Ajmer, Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki of Delhi, Baba Farid of Punjab, Khwaja Nizamuddin Aulia of Delhi and Banda Nawaz Ghesudaraz of Gulbarg. They held their assemblies in khanqahs or hospices. Tomb or dargah of a Sufi saint became a place of pilgrimage to which thousands of people thronged. So children, this is all about the great Sufis of the Central Asia, Ghazali, Rumi and Sadi. They developed the methods and their training was called Zikar. And they also emerged the silsila, the genealogy of Sufi teachers. Then Sufi teachers came and the Chishti silsila was among the most effective orders. And the teachers who were there during this age were Khwaja Muhyiddin Chishti. All this you can go through. They were most famous and their teaching amongst the Sufis were quite famous. They held their assemblies, that is, they held their meetings, conferences, and the tomb or dargah of a Sufi saint, they became a pilgrimage center and which the thousands of people they visit everywhere. Then came the new religious developments in North India. After 13th century, a new wave of bhakti movements started in North India. Kabir and Baba Guru Nanak rejected all orthodox religions. Tulsidas and Surdas, they accepted existing beliefs and practices but wanted to make these accessible to all. Tulsidas conceived God in the form of Ram. Tulsidas' composition, Ramcharitmanas, written in Awadhi, it was used in Uttar Pradesh. So children, even in North India, new religions emerged and there was a wave of bhakti. And Kabir and Guru Nanak, you all are familiar with. they rejected all orthodox religions. Orthodox means which were used from the long back. So they rejected all the old religions. Then Tulsidas and Surdas, they accepted whatever belief was present at that time, and they practiced, and they became quite perfect, used to all those things. Tulsidas, he conceived God, he thought God, preached God in the form of Ram. And Tulsidas' composition Ramcharitmanas, it was written in Avdi, which is very popular till today. Then Surdas was an ardent devotee of Krishna. Surdas, he was a strong devotee of Lord Krishna. His compositions compiled in the Sur Sagar, Sura Saravali and Sahitya Lahari expresses his devotion. So children, Surdas, he was a strong follower of Lord Krishna, and all his compositions, it is compiled together in Sur Sagar, Sura Saravali and Sahitya Lahari. It expresses, it is depicted, all his devotion is depicted in all these compositions. Shankara Dev of Assam expressed his devotion to Vishnu and composed poems and plays in Assamese. Then he practiced setting up of namghars or houses of recitation. Mirabai, she was a Rajput princess who was married into the royal family of Mewar in the 16th century. Mirabai, she became a disciple of Ravidas, a saint from a caste considered untouchable. And she too was devoted to Krishna and composed numerous bhajans. So children, all these names, you all are quite familiar with all these figures. They are very popular personalities. Even till today, everybody remembers these people. Then Kabir, everybody is familiar with Kabir ke Dohe. He lived in the 15th and 16th century, and he was the most influential saint. He was brought up in a family of Muslim julahas or weavers who were settled in or near the city of Benares. Then his collection of verses, they are called Sakhis and Pars, were sung by wandering bhajan singers. Then they were collected in Guru Granth Sahib, Panchwani and Bijak. His teachings, it also ridiculed, surprised the worship of Brahmanical Hinduism and Islam, the priestly class and the caste system. He believed in the formless supreme God, and bhakti was the answer to salvation. So this is all about Kabir. You have studied in Hindi language also, and you are familiar with most of the things of Kabir. Then Baba Guru Nanak. You all know that he is the priest, the godly figure of the Sikh. He was born at Talwandi at Pakistan. His followers, they ate together in the common kitchen called Langar, and the sacred space thus created by Guru Nanak, it is known as Dharmsal. Now it is known as Gurudwara. Before his death, he appointed one of his followers, Lehna, and he came to be known as Guru Angad. All the teachings of all the successors of Nanak were compiled by Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Later, the writings of Sheikh Farid, Sant Kabir, Bhagat Namdev, Guru Tegh Bahadur were also added in all his teachings. Then in 1706, these compilations, whatever was compiled together, was authenticated by his son Guru Gobind Singh, and it is known as Guru Granth Sahib. And it is, everybody know, it is the holy book of the Sikh. Then in the 17th century, the town of Ramdaspur, which is in Amritsar, had developed around central Gurdwara called Harmandir Sahib, which is in Golden Temple. Jahangir looked upon the Sikh leaders as threat and ordered the execution of Guru Arjan. Sikh became a political movement in 1699 under Guru Gobind Singh, and community of the Sikh known as Khalsa Panth became a political entity. So their political entity was that they were known, all the Sikh gurus, they were known as Khalsa Panth. He insisted that caste, creed and gender was irrelevant, and he used the terms Nam, Dan and Isnan in his teaching, which means right worship, welfare of others and purity of conduct. Luther felt that the several practices in the Roman Catholic Church were against the teachings of Bible. Also, he translated the Bible to German from Latin so that the common people can understand. Many Protestants, they also trace their origins to the teachings of Luther. So these were the teachings of Kabir, Guru Nanak, Arjan Dev, Guru Nanak. Then we studied about many Sufi saints, Islamic saints, and many more people who were Nayanas, who started different religions, who started preaching different regions, and they wanted that people should also follow all these teachings. I hope, children, you all have understood these figures, these teachers, these Sufi saints, from which place they belong, what did they want, and what were the teachings. You all underline in your book, as this chapter is quite important. So separately, you read and understand the teachings of Kabir, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, then Islamic saints, and many more. That's all for today. Thank you. Have a good day and go through the chapter.